the reality is it's hard. It's a hard switch because, so many people are locked into certain products that they've been using for so long. But I really think you're missing the ability to truly control your data. I think you're missing the ability to maximize your profitability. And more importantly, I think you're missing the ability to sell more cars. My name is Patrick Abad. I'm the general manager of Beaver Toyota in Cumming, Georgia. I actually started with Toyota in 1997 in a little store called Kissimmee Toyota. That's not even there anymore. And when I was with Toyota dealership in Tampa, I was there for 10 years and I had left that. There was multiple different opportunities. And I said, man, I will never move to Atlanta. And I knew someone up here and there was an opportunity in Atlanta. I'll never move to Atlanta, never move to Atlanta. I got convinced to come up and just meet the Beavers. And if you just meet the Beavers, take a look at the store and look at the opportunity. So I flew up here. I met with Mr. and Mrs. Beaver before I ever stepped foot in the store. I said, wow, I can work for these incredible human beings. Like they were just incredible human beings that it doesn't matter what they're selling. You want to be a part of them. Well, then I walked through the store and I said, wow, I can work here. And then you start thinking about it, a Toyota store in a great market, working for great owners. That's a privately held dealer group. I hit the lottery. Everything about the way the store was built was for not just the customers, but for the employees too, right? And Mr. Beaver and Mrs. Beaver, the way they designed this store, it is something that you can walk through the dealership every single day and say, well, today is not a day we can be average because you get to work here. And I mean, we do from all the technology you could imagine, we have in place and we use it, and everything from RFID to having a full-blown restaurant. We have a full-blown restaurant that can cook you a breakfast burrito or chicken tenders for your kids. They have their beer and wine license, so you can have a burger and have a beer while you're waiting to get your car serviced. Well, if that's not good enough, you can go upstairs to our salon and get your nails done, or even get a haircut. We got a salon that has 6 stations to cut hair. We have a full gym for our employees with a fitness trainer on staff who makes sure that you're doing it right, keeping our people healthy. Keep your people healthy, you can keep them productive. That's kind of the motto behind that. But I mean, even when you go into our tech locker rooms, they're like an NBA locker room, right? Give people something to be proud of and watch how they take care of your business and your customers. So there's just a lot. We invest in technology to make things easier for our customers to understand. Well, in our store, your service ticket gets written on the service drive to get you moving quicker. You're informed every step of the process. We embrace technology very well, but I think when they built the store, to your point, is they said, what do we want for our customers? Okay, cool, let's build that instead of building a building and then trying to create processes inside it. So between Orlando, Tampa, we've had there's about 60 people that currently work in the dealership that have moved up to be part of it. When you ask somebody, do you want to come to Cumming, Georgia? Most people say, where is that? If you can just convince them to just spend a day here and you see the vibe in the dealership and the energy and the foundation, right? The foundation is a privately held dealer group in a great market with owners who get it. It's been fun. It's been fun. And it's actually the number one reason for our success is the people that came up and the people who adapted to the philosophies of let's take care of our customers the best we can, one at a time. We are a used car dealership that so happens to sell a few new Toyotas, right? The reality is a good used car operation. When you have a good used car operation, you're going to have a good store. I learned many years ago that if you can get a good used car department, you'll never go broke as a dealer. The used car department supports every aspect of the dealership. There's no other department that can do that, right? Collision, parts, service, sales, accounting, our client care center, which is our phone center. The used car department supports everybody in the dealership. So if you can get it right, you have the ability to really thrive. And man, when you have a good used car department, you know what you can do on new cars. I mean, we sell between 550 and 600 cars a month. We run in the low 300s on used cars, as high as 400 in some months. And new as the last couple of years, as many people have, we've been restricted by the inventory. When you have a good used car operation, all you're doing is when inventory continues to be tight, it allows us to be profitable in a new car department, right? Which only enhances your used car department. You got to like leverage the two. So yeah, so so 550, 600 cars a month is kind of where we our water level. Sometimes it can get a little bit more, but we do, we do a pretty good decent volume in used cars for a Toyota dealership. I started just with the buy center. What I love about the buy center software, and that was my first introduction to VinQ, is the presentation that the consumer gets. I'm all about the way customers feel about us. When I grew up, my mom always said, you should never care what people think about you. Well, I don't agree with that in the business that we're in. We should care what everybody thinks about us in the business. And I think the buy center presentation that VinQ does, I've never seen anything more consumer friendly, consumer education. Like it just touches all the boxes that could be important to a customer. And that got my first buy into VinQ. So that ability, that was the first step. When I first met you guys and I added the buy center, the actual inventory solution was not ready for me. To me, where I was going, what I wanted to do, how I was going to grow, I just didn't feel like that product was ready. But when I saw it just 9 months later, I felt like I saw a whole new product. And that's when I decided, you know what? I'm going to be so lucky to get into the infant stages of a product that maybe I can have some influence on how that product's built, and I can build my business while they're building their business. And that's when we joined with VinQ, and it solved a lot of problems for me. Right? It took my buy center. Now all of a sudden it's my inventory solution. But the most important part for me was the ability to control the data that I see easily. Right? Easily. I should be able to unclick things and click things back on and be able to change the data that I'm seeing based on my market. And I think too many of the other solutions out there, because there's multiple, but too many of the other solutions kind of force you what you're going to see. But at what point does my experience and my knowledge and my instinct as the person that's on the ground, I think VinQ allows you to input that with the data and then come out with some really good solution to move cars fast and be profitable. There hasn't been a thing that I asked you guys to help either create, adjust, or tweak, or just have that I wanted to have influence on that you haven't allowed me to have. And I'll use the perfect one. When leads by model is like so important, right? If I think right now, if I have a car, and this is important, if I have a car that gets 15 leads and I only had 2 of them, well, that tells me something, right? So this was, I don't know, quite some time ago. I said, man, I really need to be able to simply be able to see leads by car. It wasn't 48 hours. I had that exact report sitting in my reports that I can click on at any point. And not only that, you gave me way more data than I ever could have need. And I think that's the thing. Some people get intimidated by some of the tools. They look at it and say, it's just too much data. No, it's very simple to look at. Just take what you need to run your business. But if you ever need to go a layer deeper, know that you can. And I think that's a major difference with VinQ. The data, you give it, you make it very easy to digest. I think it overwhelms people sometimes, and they're like, but what they don't realize is you can go to any part of it. You only need to touch the stuff that you need, but at least you know it's there. I watched Danny, I don't remember which conference, but I was talking about the vehicle buying center. And I watched Danny up there. And if anybody's ever seen Danny speak, he just gets it, right? He gets it. He doesn't shove things down your throat. He makes it make sense. And I said, man, I want to be attached to that guy, because that guy right there, that guy's got it figured out. And I think I literally instantly came back. I shook his hand after the conference, and then I instantly connected with you guys, because I want to be with people who have a passion to make our business better. Our business, as good as we are, as progressive as we think we are, there's so many other businesses that continue to move at a faster pace than we do. But I think Danny and you guys at VinQ, I think you're moving at the fastest pace I've ever seen anybody in our industry move. And I just want to be attached to that. VinQ onboarding process, it was probably as good as we've ever had on an onboarding process, right? That's tough, because especially when you're changing a solution that, when you're on a previous solution that people have been on for 10 and 12 years, and some people 15 years, that everybody believes they're an expert in, that's really hard. But I think what VinQ got figured out is, and I think the new buzzword on it's called change management. I think you guys really help very well with with how people are feeling through the change, right? And I think that's important. I think having be able to have people with knowledge and experience. I hate to say it, but a lot of products are rolled out with rookies, and that's not what you get with VinQ. You get people who know the product, but also know our business. And I think the combination of two will make the launches successful forever. I think the mobile app is really good. But I also think the way the platform is laid out, you kind of have your silos, right? And one individual can lose a game for a team, doesn't matter how well the team plays. So you got to make sure that everybody that's on that team, it does their job. And the way the platform's laid out, you can manage metrics to say this guy's not doing his job, but these guys are. So you know exactly to say which team member is not doing their job. And I think that creates massive efficiency when you're not looking at a broad spectrum of how you're operating, but you can get deep into one silo. It's really hard to quantify some of the things that happen, but you know they're happening. But the way we're able to look at vehicle history in VinQ gives us an amazing data. The second part is the reconditioning, right? When you're doing appraisal with VinQ, I can go in there and see who's truly appraising cars accurately. I think appraisal accuracy in 2025 is going to be a really important piece to how you run used car department. Listen, if every car that Johnny appraises, he's missing brakes, somebody go train Johnny how to measure brakes. Because if Johnny doesn't measure brakes properly, he's costing us $500 on every appraisal. With your guys' tool, it's just so simple to do that. With VinQ, it's just so simple to do that. Appraisal accuracy. And I think that's a really massive change that has helped us because we're able to monitor that much better. Merchandising is completely changed. And I believe merchandising is one of the biggest pieces to a success of a used car. You could have great pictures, but if you're not telling a great story, pictures is part of merchandising. But when you can do it with just a few clicks of a button and all that data is there and they help you do it, right? The tool in VinQ really helps you write a good, clean message. And our guy, we have one person responsible for merchandising. That's literally his only job is merchandising cars properly. He can get through the volume of cars that we do. It would take most people, 4 or 5 people in a store to do. How VinQ is laid out on the merchandising side allows me to do what it takes 4 people to do, allows me to only have one person be able to do that. The reality is it's hard. It's a hard switch because, so many people are locked into certain products that they've been using for so long. But I really think you're missing the ability to truly control your data. I think you're missing the ability to maximize your profitability. And more importantly, I think you're missing the ability to sell more cars. It's time to take control of your business. It's time to take control of your data, and it's time to take control of your success of the future. In one word, how would I describe my experience with VinQ? Fun. What VinQ has done for my team since we've launched was it's allowed create tons of efficiencies that gives my people their time back, which gives them their life back, right? If you can create efficiencies in their daily work, I don't have people going home at 11 o'clock at night opening their computers to get their work done. It allows me, the efficiencies allows me to give them some time back. And I think it's an important piece of running a business today. VinQ has made things so easy to do your job. And the reality is anytime there's something that we think could make things easier, somehow within the next release, you guys are adding that to the platform. And I just think every part, and I say the silos again, right? Because you have the vehicle buying center, then you have the guys who are appraising cars, then the guys who are merchandising the cars. Every aspect has very simple ways to do your job. Most of it's point, click, done. Research, getting the research, the way it's laid out. They don't have to go digging to get the answers they need to make the decisions. And I think that's the biggest piece, right? The data is so clean that it comes to you that you're able to make very good, decisive decisions. And I love one of the features. I love this feature. If you got a bad dealer down the street who just doesn't market his used cars right, I never want to compare myself to that guy. I just put him on the blacklist and he's gone. I'll never see his cars. Right. So what did that do? Now my guy doesn't have to go in there and say, well, if I take out that guy's cars and no, we take it out, we never see it again. Talk about efficiency, right? They're able to move faster, giving them some time back. The fact that VinQ is one platform, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back 5 years ago when I wasn't on VinQ. If you walked in, I would be surrounded by computer screens because I needed 5 different systems to go and make one decision on a purchase or one decision on appraisal. and you were pulling this window sticker over here, and you were looking at the car history over here, and then you were looking at the market over here, and then, oh, it's a buy center car, and to be able to have everything in one platform. And when you touch that car, you can see everything right in front of your face. It just changes your day, right? It's not overwhelming. And I think that's the biggest word. If you ask me one word, right, I said fun. But the other part is our people can no longer feel overwhelmed doing their job when everything is just a click away. If I could give advice to myself for before VinQ, it'd be like, dude, you're gonna nail it. Your timing's perfect. Don't vary from where you're going. But there's people, and I think the lead to that question, I mean, the answer to that question is the people who are just kicking the can down the road. Because VinQ listens to their dealers, I wish I would have been involved a little bit more sooner. Because you listen to the dealers, you can even have more influence into how the product continues to evolve. A lot of people look at VinQ as a vendor, and people are, oh, it's vendors, partners, and this and that. I feel like the people at VinQ are friends. And when I come to work every single day, I'd rather do business with my friends than a partner or a vendor.